Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's June 5th right now, about 4 p.m. I might upload this tonight. I might get to it tomorrow morning. We'll see what I name the date. But the reason I'm doing that is because right now I'm uploading that interview I did with Robert David Steele, and it's a badass one. So make sure you go check that out. That'll be the video that I upload right before this one. So watch it, share it, love it. Anyway, back to the news with these. We've got a jam-packed day here. A lot of stuff going on. That's why I wanted to get this in. And upload it as soon as I can, but we've got a lot of stuff. So first and foremost, we have a developing story going on with the FBI. So the FBI actually raided a Michigan home. This was in Dearborn, Michigan, and they raided this home, I believe June 2nd is the date of this article. I found this on the Detroit Free Press, and this raid involved national security, but it had nothing to do with terrorism or any local person in the area. So I tried to do some digging around this story. This story just came across my way today, and apparently it's been out there for a couple days. It hasn't come across my path. But when I was doing the research into this today, a lot of people were saying that this was Huma Abedin's house. Now, of course, I haven't confirmed that, and I did a little bit more digging once I found that out and found that it might be either Huma Abedin's house or an associate of Huma Abedin. It might be her brother's house. And remember, Huma Abedin is the wife, or the estranged wife, of Anthony Weiner, whose laptop is primary evidence in some pedogate investigations. So this is big news. And it's very tight-lipped. We don't exactly know what's going on, which is probably why there's so much conflicting stories out there about it. And this, again, is probably also why we see the mainstream media throwing Hillary Clinton under the bus. That's what I mentioned in my last news update that I did 2 or 3 days ago, in that we're seeing a lot of mainstream media articles coming out completely tossing Hillary under the bus. And there's like this fracture going on. So this might be one of those reasons, because a lot of these investigations are closing in. So this is something we should keep our eye on. And then next, again, the FBI, they've been busy the past couple of days. The FBI arrested an NSA contractor that leaked top secret Russia hacking documents to The Intercept, the mainstream media outlet The Intercept. So these Russian hacking documents, again, they might have been fabricated. They might have just found that NSA contractor who was basically making up the evidence for the mainstream media Russia narrative. So, again, right? I mean, a lot of things are definitely closing in. So this is another interesting story. This literally just broke like 10 minutes ago. I found this like 10 minutes ago on Zero Hedge. So, yeah, I was doing all my research today. I'm like, shoot, I have to make another news update. So this is a really interesting story. You can go check that out. I'll link this one down below. And then we get into the London terror attack. And I don't really have much to say about that. Obvious false flag. I saw this video of like cops that were changing behind this van at the scene. Completely made it look like it was staged. So when these attacks occur, and what's really interesting is I did like my false flag video just a couple days ago, and then another one happens. It's like we can't go 48 hours with some false flag terror attack happening. And this shows you how desperate the elite are getting. And they're getting very sloppy. What's also very interesting along the lines of this story is that on CNN, they literally called it a psyop. Like, they actually uttered those words on the mainstream media. So not only is it getting sloppy, not only are we getting so many of them that it's just obvious they're trying to distract us from things, but even the mainstream media are letting things slip out there. So this is also why we're seeing in the mainstream media, they actually have to address the issue of what a false flag is. And then we're seeing articles on like Snopes trying to discredit these terror attacks from being false flags. So it's just getting plainly obvious. So at this point in time, don't feel scared talking to your friends and family about the reality of false flag attacks, what they are, why they're done. You know, they're done to promote agendas out of a feared population, problem, reaction, solution. So get the word out there, you guys. You know, talk about these things, and help your friends and family that don't understand that we have to come to consciousness for these things to cease, right? I mean, these terror attacks aren't going to go away until we know why the heck they're doing them. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Next, Putin laying down some truth. So this one kind of slipped by me that I didn't see today until I was doing, my digging. I saw this on Zero Hedge as well. But Putin, in his interview he did with Megyn Kelly earlier this week, actually hinted at JFK being murdered by the deep state. And this is just, I quote deep state all the time because this new terminology is just getting so overplayed. But I like the word deep state better than Illuminati, because Illuminati really stuck into a negative connotation in people's heads. So this one quite hasn't done that yet, but we'll see. Anyway, Putin laying down the truth. He actually made the reference to JFK being murdered by the deep state, and now this deep state is going after Trump and Russia. And in that interview that I just did with Robert David Steele, he made a mention of the fact that this climate that we're seeing, all of these intelligence operations and this political climate, resembles that before JFK got assassinated very closely. So, I don't doubt that this statement was made blindly without Putin understanding a lot of what's going on. So that was a very interesting quote that Putin laid out there. I actually found what he exactly said. He said, "There is a theory that Kennedy's assassination was arranged by the United States intelligence services. So if this theory is correct, and that can't be ruled out, then what could be easier in this day and age than using all the technical means at the disposal of the intelligence services and using those means to organize some attacks and pointing the finger at Russia," which is exactly what's going on. So Putin is basically just calling him out, giving 0 Fs. So there's Putin for you guys. And that's basically what's going on in the realm of politics. So the FBI is doing a lot of stuff. Terror attacks just obviously out there to distract us from everything that's going on. And then lastly, I want to get into just the mainstream science nonsense that I love to talk about in every video. Throw a couple articles in there just to talk a bunch of crap about science dogma. So first and foremost, I saw this article a couple days ago, and that was NASA to create colorful artificial clouds with a rocket launch. Artificial clouds. What does that make you think of? Chemtrails, which I also call cumulonimbus clouds, since they are trying to rename them for better public image. So in this article, really freaking interesting, I found this on AOL, it says, while the vapor will contain barium, strontium, and cupric oxide. Barium and strontium. Where have we heard those terms before? NASA cautions that they will pose absolutely no hazard to residents along the mid-Atlantic coast because of the altitude they will be released at. Yeah. Again, truth in plain sight. The elite do this for many reasons. On one end, it kind of desensitizes us. There's a lot of spiritual free will components as to why they put the truth in plain sight. But here it is. Boom, right there. NASA freaking artificial clouds. Just, slapping you in the face with the truth there. Next, again, just poo-pooing on NASA because they suck. NASA can't explain what made this strange deep hole on Mars. So this one just came out today. I found this on Science Alert, and the subcaption literally says, "We're not saying it's aliens, but they're really trying to seed that idea into your heads." Again, a lot of soft disclosures coming out through the mainstream media trying to prep you, especially in the realm of the extraterrestrial issue and UFO disclosures. So they're just trying to, again, lay it all out there. And they put this image up of like this sinkhole, this obvious hole that they found on Mars. And again, NASA, never a straight answer, is a front organization to hide a lot of secretive space projects that have been being built for decades out of the public knowledge. And many people are becoming aware. I mean, again, Robert David Steele in that interview I just did with him mentioned this, that it is now known we most likely have bases on Mars. We've had bases on Mars most likely since the time of the Nazis, because they were perfecting electrogravitic technology in the Third Reich in the 1940s. So it's of no, I don't want to say doubt in my mind, but it is not a stretch of the imagination at all to think that humans are on Mars right now, and a lot of these black projects and black programs have craft that have been to Mars. So there's been humans on Mars. It's not difficult to say. So this is just a really ridiculous article that's trying to seed, oh, what's really on Mars, into your head. And lastly, I want to talk about something health related. And this was an article that came out about a week ago. I haven't had the chance to report on it, but I wanted to throw it in there today. And that is, again, on Science Alert. The headline of this one was, CRISPR gene editing can cause hundreds of unexpected mutations. Now remember, the CRISPR gene editing process is that magic new immunotherapy that all these pharmaceutical companies are trying to push out onto the public. And the reason they're pushing this is because everybody is waking up to the fact that chemotherapy and radiation suck for cancer. So now what these pharmaceutical companies are trying to do is come out with a brand new magic cancer cure that's going to be very super duper effective, and that's why they've been pushing CRISPR for a couple of years now. But what they don't tell you is CRISPR is going to be really freaking expensive, and there's going to be a lot of issues behind it. And surprisingly, this is actually in the mainstream media, but a lot of these unexpected issues have to do with causing unexpected mutations. Again, if you're going to mess around with genes, you're messing around with Mother Nature. And man is not as smart as Mother Nature, let me tell you. So if you're going to mess around with the genes of a living thing, it's going to cause some unintended consequences sooner or later, right? Much like the issue of genetic modification of plants, eventually those plants are going to die or get issues, and we very well see that. If you're going to try to alter our genes to combat cancer, which isn't cancer gene altering in the first place, then you're probably going to get some issues. And this, the reason this really pisses me off the most, I'm going to end on a very passionate note. There have been cures for cancer for decades. The cure for cancer, I often say this, is awareness. It's simply understanding what holistic health is. This is why I'm so big into health, and I sometimes preach in some of my videos, and I do a lot of videos on health, because that's a huge aspect of re-education that all of us are going to need. There's been cures of cancer out there for years, and you can look into Dr. Max Gerson, who was curing cancer as early as the 1940s with just diet, a juicing, vegetarian-based diet, and that was it. You can look into Dr. Royal Rife, who was curing chronic diseases and microbes and viruses and cancer cells and killing them simply through the use of targeted frequencies. So there's Gerson, there's a Rife, there's Dr. Hoxsey, there's MMS, there's vitamin B17, or what you call laetrile, and apricot kernels. There's all kinds of different things out there to cure cancer with. Cancer is simply a diseased or out of balance body. And I don't want to say it's simple to get it back into balance, but it's doable without the use of chemo, radiation. You don't have to cut, poison, or burn it. And without the use of these ridiculous, fancy new immunotherapies. So I just want to throw some of that information out there, and be very wary of these new pharmaceutical methods that claim to be this end-all, cure-all, be-all. So anyway, that's me poo-pooing on some mainstream media science today. I just like to do that. Sometimes I think about separating this stuff into separate videos. I might still do that, but anyway, that's your news roundup for today, which is June 5th. Again, I might release it tomorrow on June 6th. We'll see. Check for that Robert David Steele interview that's coming your way. It'll already be your way, but go watch it if you haven't. And thank you all you guys, for your support on PayPal, on Patreon, sharing my videos, messaging and emailing me. All of you guys are awesome. So take care.